Hi, and welcome to my presentation on the 7 major chakras. There are a number of different subtle energy systems that have been discovered and utilized for healing and health across the globe. And one of those is the chakra nadi system articulated in the India region of the world. And it was discovered thousands of years ago and articulated in writings. And then there have been a number of healers and people who can see subtle energies who've also discussed this topic. My presentation today will talk through a little bit of the history. Mostly, however, I will be focusing on the modern concept of the 7 major chakras and its impact on our functioning in our lives. There is other subtle energy systems that I'm discussing in other presentations, such as the human aura and the acupuncture meridian system from China. So please do consider delving into those presentations as well. This presentation covers material from Chapter 5 of the textbook I co-authored with Dr. Charles Krebs. And then there is additional information from my experience and learnings through life. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tania O'Neill McGowan, and I first started learning about chakras and human auras when I was about 18, so almost 30 years ago now. And at the time, I was doing a Bachelor of Science at a very prestigious university in Western Australia. And some people in my life found it difficult to understand how I could be so convinced of subtle energies while I was studying, mainstream physical sciences. But for me, physics very much opens the door to the non-physical realm when you get into quantum mechanics and the like. And I found a great alignment between certain aspects of my university studies and aspects of the studies I was doing in my personal life in the realm of subtle energies. And so that has sort of been my life's work, integrating science and spirit. I've been a teacher. I was a high school teacher for a very short period of time, and then I've spent many years now, almost 2 decades, teaching adults. I have completed a master's degree, which helped me learn more and integrate science and spirit in a really beautiful and unique way. I've done a lot of learnings, hands-on learnings in energy medicine over the years, including 2 years of study at the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, which was very instrumental in me seeing energy medicine as a very professional and necessary healing modalities in our world. And I have worked in the field of kinesiology training for a long time now. And so that had led to me co-authoring the textbook and then creating these presentations to support that book and also share information beyond it out in the world. So the chakras are energy transformers, capable of shifting energy from a higher vibration to a lower vibration and vice versa. And we're talking about energies that are non-physical. So they're beyond the physical plane. We can measure the impact of those energies in the physical plane, but we cannot measure non-physical energies with physical devices, directly measure them. And so a lot of our understanding in this realm comes from the impact that they have and from people's personal experience of seeing them, feeling them, hearing them, sensing them in some non-physical way. And once you've experienced the non-physical realm, very viscerally. It's hard to come back from that and believe we're just physical stuff anymore. Therefore, by healing the chakras, it becomes possible to create healing on multiple levels of one's being: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So the chakras actually connect all the dimensions of our being. And so when there is dysfunction in our chakras, then that interferes with that process. And I'll talk more about that as we go through the lecture. And so then by healing issues within one's major chakras, you actually create harmony across your entire being, potentially. So our physical, emotional, and mental behavior is all influenced by non-physical aspects of our being. So while we tend to only notice the aspects of our functioning that directly impact our physical brain and our 5 physical senses, those things are easier for us to notice in our daily life. There is actually much more going on than just that physical component of our functioning. So there's all this non-physical aspects to reality that are having an impact in how we feel and think in our daily lives, and therefore the choices that we make. So universal, divine, spiritual energies, whichever word works for you in that space, these non-physical energies which create the physical universe are too intense for our physical body to experience directly. So when somebody has an experience directly of these energies into their physical body, it can actually harm the physical body. So these higher energetic inputs actually need to pass through specialized step-down transformers to turn them into a form of energy that our physical body can work with and utilize. And that energy is called prana in this Indian system. And so these specialized step-down transformers are known as the chakras. So the chakra system is actually the way that we draw upon divine energy. So there's this energy that created our universe, created everything in it, and is supporting and nurturing our whole world and us as we go through life. And the chakra system is the way that we take that pure, unified energy and turn it into a more physically orientated form of energy. And it is believed that the chakras actually transduce the universal, divine, spiritual energy down through the auric layers to the physical body. So in another lecture, I discuss the human aura and the different layers or bodies that potentially exist in that multidimensional aspect of the human being. And so the way that the energies actually come down from the spiritual to the mental to the emotional and then to the physical body is through the chakras. So we have these different layers. The chakras exist on every layer, and they transduce the spiritual energy down through the layers for us. Now, this is a picture from Barbara Brennan's book showing us a side view of a chakra. So the earliest teachings of the chakra system actually come from what are called Sanskrit writings. So the Vedas are ancient writings from the Indian region of the world, and they talked about many things to do with human beings and life and health. And one of the things included in those teachings was the chakra system. And so they were depicted in symbolic images thousands of years ago, and they get utilized in yoga and meditation in that system. Now, the word chakra is actually a piece of a much larger word, but it is what's been adopted when these concepts have been moved out into the world. So chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or disc, because they look circular to people who have the ability to see them. Chakras are described as being spinning wheels of light when viewed from the front, or a spinning vortice when viewed from the side. So you can see from the side they look like a vortice, and from the front they look like a circle, a wheel. And they're believed to actually move and spin, hence their name. Symbolically, they're often depicted as a lotus flower, which is an unfolding flower. So it unfolds and gradually opens up. And that idea of that gradual unfolding is what's believed to happen with our chakras throughout our lifetime. There is this gradual unfoldment of our chakras as we become more capable of experiencing greater aspects of life throughout our lifetime. In order that incoming subtle energies are properly integrated into the cellular matrix, they must first pass through specialized step-down transformers. These unique centers, known as the chakras, process vibrational energy of specific frequencies. The chakras translate the effects of etheric, astral, and higher vibrational inputs into biological manifestations via our unique endocrine system. Thank you, Richard Gerber, and your book, Vibrational Medicine. So we actually have many, many, many chakras in our body. But what is usually recognized is 7 major chakras. So they're the largest ones that we work with and play a big role in who we are and how we interact with the world and express ourselves and take in the world around us. We also have many minor chakras on our body. Every joint of the body has a minor chakra. Some of the organs, like the liver, and stomach, and our eyes, our reproductive glands. There are a lot of various parts of organs that actually have a minor chakra. And then there are also many, many more what are called mini chakras. And so there are many writings in the modern world around major, minor, and mini chakras. But today's lecture is going to primarily focus on the 7 major chakras, as they're the ones that are most comprehensively discussed in the literature. And also they're the ones that have the biggest impact on our journey in life. So our 7 major chakras are vertically aligned parallel to our spinal cord. So the chakras are actually connected to each other and to organs and parts of our body, as well as parts of our aura, through what are called nadis. So they are channels that the energy prana actually moves through. And the largest nadi in our body is called sushumna. And it runs from our perineum at the base of our body all the way up through the middle of our body to the center of our head, where our crown chakra is located. So sushumna connects our base or root chakra through to our crown chakra, and then all the other major chakras are then connected in to that nadi, around about through our spinal column. And so sushumna is the largest nadi in the body, and all the major chakras are connected to it. So very important in our functioning. So we have our root chakra or base chakra, depending on where in the world you are, the name that's given. We then have our sacral or sexual chakra roundabout at our pelvis. We have our solar plexus, also called navel chakra, in the middle of our belly. We have our heart chakra in the middle of our chest. We have our throat chakra at our throat. we have our brow chakra in the middle of our forehead, and then the crown chakra out of the middle of the top of the head, hence crown of the head, you find the crown chakra. All the major chakras have a front and a back. However, the base chakra and the crown chakra are connected to each other through Sushumna. So these major chakras pull universal, divine, whatever word you want to use, energy, that pure creative force in the universe. Our major chakras pull that energy in to then be utilized by our being. And it pulls it into nerve centers, endocrine glands, organs, and other physical structures in that area of the body. So a major chakra is looking after an area of the body. It's looking after also a way that we are in the world. It's an aspect of our functioning. And we'll talk more about that when we go through each of the major chakras individually. The chakras translate these higher vibrational inputs into biological manifestations via our endocrine and nervous systems, which are our two regulatory systems in the human body. We have many different systems that have been articulated in Western physiological science, but it's the endocrine and the nervous systems, which are the regulatory systems that regulate the function of other organs and structures in our physical systems. And so the chakras actually impact our regulatory systems that then impact our physiological functioning in our daily lives. They're also able to affect our moods and behavior through these hormonal influences on brain activity. Our inner emotional balance is partly a function of healthy chakras. So different emotional functioning is regulated by different major chakras, and that can have an impact on our ability to express various emotions, to work with various emotional aspects of life, in how we interact with other humans and the choices we make through our daily life. So understanding them will help explain how emotional states create either illness or wellness. So we know that emotions have an impact on physiological health, but we haven't fully articulated how that all occurs. So we've got some ideas through various little chemical signals that happen, but the chakras actually add another dimension to explaining how emotional states actually impact physiological functioning. Now, our major chakras actually develop as we grow in consciousness. So our major chakras are growing and developing as we do. They're an integral part of that process of expanding our consciousness. So as we move through different stages of development, the corresponding chakra is brought into fuller activation, allowing further growth to occur in our life. So each chakra has its particular emotional and spiritual lessons that once we've worked through those lessons, then that chakra comes into fuller activation. The degree to which lessons are dealt with determines the amount of subtle energy flow into the body. So by working through our challenges and issues in life, we actually heal aspects of a major chakra. And then that opens up the ability for more spiritual energy to flow through that chakra and into our functioning. The chakras contribute a type of subtle nutritive energy to specific parts of the physical body. And proper functioning of the major chakras is critical to the balance and health of each organ system. So if we have issues going on in a particular aspect of our physiological functioning, say a particular organ in our body is struggling, not working at its optimum, then that is a sign that the chakra associated with that organ actually has some kind of inflammation and blockage that we perhaps could look at and work with. This is not to imply that abnormalities within the chakra system are the only cause of illness. They are just one of many inputs. However, proper functioning of our chakras helps establish strength and balance in a particular physiological system. And abnormal functioning can create weakness. So through the chakras, we can gather information about where we're perhaps need to do some work, where we're struggling. And by healing those aspects of those chakra functioning, we can actually then create good health again. So energy changes in our non-physical bodies manifest, energetic changes occur in our non-physical bodies, such as the chakras, before manifesting as physical cellular events. So people who have the capacity to see into these non-physical realms will actually see abnormalities, blockages in function, whatever words we want to use. They will actually see dysfunction in these non-physical realms before you can actually measure anything with a physiological measuring, a blood test or something like that. So dysfunction does occur in the non-physical realm before it then manifests physically. So if we were actually to work with these non-physical aspects and heal before physical manifestation, we can actually prevent ill health. So inadequate energy in a chakra can result in degenerative disease or atrophy of function, loss of function in some aspects of our physical functioning. And overabundant energy flow can cause inflammation and things like cancerous growth. So having not enough energy flowing through a particular chakra can cause illness. Equally, over energy flow in a particular chakra can also cause ill health. So we actually want a balanced flow of energy through all our major chakras. The idea is not that having a massive chakra means you're doing really well in that area. Actually, we want all our major chakras to be functioning in a balanced, equally energized way. And then for them to grow as we grow in our life. Having one or two rather large chakras and then the others smaller is not healthy. Having very under-energized chakras also not healthy. So we want that balance through our entire major chakra system. Feelings, thoughts, and belief systems all affect chakra functioning. In order to heal chakra imbalances, it is necessary to change our inner programming. So we can't stay dysfunctional in our daily life and have a healthy chakra system. And so the two things go hand in hand. Our chakra system reflects where we're at in our personality physical self, and our personality physical self would show us and give us clues as to what's going on in our chakra system as well. They very much work hand in hand. So the physiological connections. So the chakras have direct connections through nadis with the endocrine system and our autonomic nervous system. So these are the systems that are playing a role in our daily life for regulating our ongoing physiological functioning. So through the chakras connecting to these regulatory systems, they then affect our physiological functioning, because the autonomic nervous system and the endocrine system maintain basic homeostasis for our body. And these systems are largely governed by the subtle pranic inputs of our chakra system. So our chakras are constantly having this subtle impact on our physiological functioning through those regulatory systems. So just to give you a bit of a visual of how that might occur, so each chakra is associated with an endocrine gland, usually in the area, of that major chakra, and it also links in to a specific nerve plexus, okay, at the level of the location of each chakra within the body. So we have nerves, pathways from our brain that come down our spine and then come out at a certain level of our spine. So there's a cluster of nerves, and then that is called a nerve plexus. And then those nerves go out to a particular region of the body. And so each of the major chakras is affecting a various nerve plexus, and therefore affecting our neurological functioning in that region of the body. And it's also affecting an endocrine gland. And most of the endocrine glands actually have an impact on some aspect of our overall functioning. And so they're able to then have an impact on our physiology through the endocrine gland and the nerve plexus. So higher divine energies, spiritual energies come in to a major chakra. It then gets transduced down into prana, into a form of energy our physiological bodies can utilize. So it gets transduced down into prana. That prana flows through the nadis. These are channels that allow energy flow in our physical body and our aura. And that energy, that prana, then goes into our autonomic nervous system through the nerve plexus. And it goes into our endocrine system through the endocrine gland associated with that chakra. Now, our endocrine system is involved in, so our endocrine glands release what are called hormones. They're little chemical messengers that go out and they attach to cells and then tell a cell to do a particular function. And the way our endocrine system works is that when a function drops low, the endocrine gland then starts releasing a hormone out into our bloodstream that goes to the cells that it's related to do its function, and tells those cells to start doing something. For instance, our thyroid gland releases a hormone called thyroxine into our blood that goes to cells and tells cells to start doing more metabolism, which increases energy being released for use by our body. And then when that function goes up and reaches its threshold, the thyroid then stops creating that hormone. The cells then drop down, do less metabolism until we reach the lower threshold. Then the thyroid switches on again. We start creating more energy. So there's this on and off process. And so our endocrine system is in charge of our long-term ongoing physiology that creates homeostasis in our body. So things that need to happen, but it's not crucial it happens right now, and they're ongoing things, so they happen a lot in the body, tend to be controlled by our endocrine system because it's actually very low energy process to release a hormone into the bloodstream, but it's very slow. So if you wanted something to happen quickly, that wouldn't be the system you'd utilize. It's a bit like posting a letter in the mail. It's going to get there, and it's going to get there very inexpensively, but it's going to take time. Things that need to happen for our ongoing physiology and homeostasis that need to be quick tend to be controlled by our nervous system. So our autonomic nervous system maintains a lot of our ongoing functioning, like the beating of our heart, our breathing. They're kind of crucial to being alive. So they need to be able to be interacted with quickly. Things like our fight-flight response, if you had to wait for a hormone to travel through the blood to turn on your fight-flight response, the tiger would have eaten you. So that system is controlled by our autonomic nervous system. And it's very quick system. A nerve impulse is very fast in the body, particularly compared to a hormone floating through the blood. However, it's very energy intensive. So things that are very crucial to our long-term survival and need to happen very quickly without fail tend to be controlled by that system. It takes a lot of energy, but it keeps you alive. So that's a good trade-off. So we have these two different regulatory systems, our short-term control in the autonomic nervous system and our longer-term control of physiology in the endocrine system. And both of them are being nurtured energetically by our major chakras. So the chakras coordinate the flow of energy into and out of the body. So our chakras are a way of us taking in things from the world around us and taking in universal spiritual energy, but they are also how we project things back out into the world. The way each chakra processes the universal energy as it flows through the body indicates how the individual is processing their daily life stuff. So how you are processing the world is showing up within our chakras. Our chakras are constantly filtering all the events of our life. So information, energetic information from the world around us is being filtered through our chakras. So if a chakra has some kind of blockage or imbalance, that's going to alter how we experience the world. And that's why healing our major chakras is so important, because then we're filtering the world in a healthy way instead of an unhealthy way. A change in thought and an expression can instantly change a chakra. So if any of our chakras are imbalanced or blocked, then our experience of the world is affected, as I just said. Since the chakras can be affected by an imbalance in any aspect of our being, we are all living with some level of distortion in our chakras. So we've all got some level of imbalance. What we want to be working towards is healing those imbalances so that we can experience life in a much more harmonious and healthy way. Blockages are points where the movement of your subtle energy meets resistance. So we've got subtle energy moving through all our systems. We've got this universal energy coming in through our outer layer of our aura and then being transduced down through the chakras, through all the levels of our aura. And that subtle energy transduction process can meet resistance. They may be the result of physical conditions, distorted energetic patterns, erroneous beliefs that you hold, emotional imbalances, and or spiritual misconceptions. So to experience the world fully without any distortions, one must heal the physical, emotional, mental belief system and or spiritual imbalances that are causing those chakra blockages. Chakra blockages do not develop by accident. They're put in place to protect you from things you were unable to process. You had an experience in the world that was difficult for you, and your energy being was looking after you by putting something in place to help you cope in a world that was potentially uncopable at that point in time. So we can have these experiences that are very difficult for us to process, particularly when we're very little. And so our energy structures put things in place, not accidentally, but actually to help us continue to function in the world. But at some point, that protection is no longer needed, but it might still be hanging around. And that's what healing is. It's healing those things we don't need, those protections we don't need anymore, so that we can function at our optimum in our adulthood. Blockages often remain well past their use-by date and prevent us from experiencing further growth. All the challenges we encounter in life are an opportunity to identify the imbalances in our chakra system. So everything that goes right and wrong in our daily life are clues to where we have balance in our chakra system and where we have imbalance in our chakra system. So imbalances in chakras can be caused by many, many, many different things. Here are some of the main ones to just give you an idea. So childhood traumas lead to imbalances in chakras. Cultural conditioning, we're all influenced by those around us, unless we consciously choose to look at that. Limited belief systems, restrictive or exhausting habits, physical injuries, emotional injuries, lack of attention to some aspect of our life can also lead to chakra imbalance. So balancing our chakras is a really important aspect of healing. We may balance them consciously, or it may happen through choices that we make in our healing journey. Our ability to drive fulfillment in our life is limited by the unresolved issues creating chakra imbalances. That is why balancing the chakras can lead to profound changes in how we experience the world and open up new possibilities. So if we clear imbalances, blockages, resistances within a major chakra, we're going to start seeing opportunity and choice in areas of our life where we felt we didn't have that before. The yogis have used the chakra system for thousands of years as an integral part of holistic healing. So it's one piece of a bigger healing system for them. Creating balance in the chakra system in turn leads to significant changes in all areas of our life, including our physiological functioning, our relationships, our finances, our emotional states, and our overall attitude to life. Now, my experience has been a lot in the world of kinesiology for the last 20 odd years. So just going to talk a little bit about that for those that have come to this through Energetic Kinesiology textbook. So kinesiology does provide a unique and particularly effective way of balancing our chakra system. So in kinesiology, we use biofeedback from our client, and you're welcome to look at some of my other lectures on kinesiology and muscle monitoring to understand that biofeedback process more, should you wish to. So we use this muscle biofeedback process to help us identify which chakra requires balancing and what techniques would be optimum for correcting that chakra. It involves uncovering blockages within the chakra on multiple levels. So we look at the physical etheric, the astral emotional, the mental, the attitudinal, and the spiritual aspects of functioning through the muscle biofeedback. And this leads to releasing emotional blockages, uncovering of limiting beliefs, and discovery of new insights that leads to change in our lives. It assists us to create new possibilities and to view the world from a new perspective. And so functional kinesiology, the modern form of kinesiology I've been involved with, can be particularly effective in reestablishing balance in our chakra system. It's not the only way, and so obviously there are other ways that we can go about creating balance in our chakra system. To effectively heal, create long-lasting wellness, and move closer to wholeness, one needs to work with the subtle energy systems as well as the physical systems. There's this whole missing component in Western medicine where it only acknowledges physical systems. And we know a lot about physical functioning, and yet people still struggle to be happy and healthy. And that's because we're not bringing in the subtle energy systems. When we start working with these systems, we really can create long-term wellness if we have an integrated system of working with people. The 7 major chakras play a vital role in health and happiness for human beings. They really play a huge component in how we experience life, and therefore whether we create health and happiness or not. The issues and challenges we're facing in our daily lives provide vital clues to the chakra blockages we currently have. So it's actually information from our daily life that can give us clues as to what is going on in that aspect of our functioning. Then by balancing our chakras, we heal those blockages which are causing imbalance in our everyday life. Now, as well as prana, this system discusses another form of energy that you may have heard of called kundalini. So kundalini sits in our base or root chakra, and it gradually rises within the individual depending on what happens in our life. And so kundalini is not raised by us through intentionally trying to rise it. It actually rises of its own accord as we heal our chakra system. So the opening of a chakra through growth and development of the individual leads to the kundalini rising. So growth and development does not occur by the development of the chakras, but rather the chakras develop as a result of growth and development of our individual consciousness. So by identifying the blocks to growth and by bringing these to conscious awareness, you can then choose to live differently in order to keep these blocks from coming back. So by healing yourself and raising your consciousness, you actually provide an opportunity for this deeply spiritual energy to then rise in your being. This promotes further conscientious growth by the clearing of yet more blocks and so on until full awareness is attained. So let's go through each of the major chakras one at a time and talk about them. So our base or root chakra is the one at the foundation, the bottom of our major chakra system. Its Sanskrit name is Muladhara, which means root support. It's the energetic foundation for our body and our chakra system. So it's highly important to create a strong energetic foundation. It grounds you and gives you the energy to endure life's trials and tribulations. It's concerned with our physical needs and basic human survival. When the energy of this chakra is balanced and flowing freely, you feel safe and secure in your life. The ability to manifest what we need to take care of ourselves and prosper comes from this chakra. So when this chakra is healthy and functioning well, we have everything we need to take care of ourselves in this physical dimension. It's about discipline. So it's about being able to stick with something long enough that manifestation of that can then occur. So discipline is about being able to stay the course and create something in this physical dimension. So it's about being able to stick at something to create physical health. It's about being able to stick at something to create financial wealth. It's about being able to work on things with other humans and stay the course so that we can then create something healthy and happy for us in this physical dimension. Without a strong foundation being provided by the root chakra, our chakra system will be easily shaken and thrown off balance by any challenges we encounter. Healing of the root chakra could be considered a priority because without an open, healthy base providing a nutritive energy flow into the central power channel, the development of all the other chakras will be, to some extent, hindered. Without the strong, robust energy of this first chakra, our spiritual ascent is obstructed. So sometimes I know when people are working with the major chakras, there can be a certain glamour associated with the higher chakras and being able to interact with higher spiritual energies. But actually, we need a strong foundation for any of that to occur. Without a strong foundation, the other stuff isn't grounded, and that hinders that spiritual ascent. The next chakra, our sacral chakra, its Sanskrit name is Svadhisthana, which means sweet place. This is our pleasure center. It helps us embrace the sweetness of life and nourish our soul. Relationship is one of the most prominent aspects of the sacral chakra. So in our base chakra, we are creating a strong foundation for us as an individual. And then in the sacral chakra, this is where we start to create relationship with others. It plays a role in healthy long-term bonding and balance in your life, and the ability to engage in a healthy give and take with other people comes from this chakra. It enlivens our desire and capacity for pleasure, nurturing, and tenderness in life. So our desires come from this chakra. Our next chakra is our navel, or often called solar plexus chakra. Its Sanskrit name is Manapura, which means city of jewels. This is where our sense of self in the greater world comes from. How well it functions determines how the world sees you and how you see yourself in that world. So base chakra is our foundation for our individual self. Our sacral chakra, we're then creating relationship, and at the navel chakra, we're now extending ourselves out into the greater world. It is here that we develop the courage to express ourselves in the world as our truth emerges. We develop tenacity to keep going despite difficulties. It radiates and distributes pranic energy throughout the entire human framework. So it plays a big role in our energy to do our individual self out there in daily life. It converts whatever you take in, whether it's food or ideas, into a more usable form. And there's a recognition of being simultaneously complete and yet part of a greater whole. So this is where our self-esteem and self-worth grows and develops. Our next chakra is our heart chakra in the middle of our chest, and its Sanskrit name is Anahata, which means unstruck sound. So the sound of the celestial realm. And so it's the energetic center of your subtle body. So our lower three chakras play a big role in our physical personality self, and our higher three chakras play a big role in our spiritual self. And our heart is in the middle of those two parts. So it's a powerful link between our physical and our spiritual realms. It demands that we reassess our relationship with ourselves and our profound connection with everything else. So it's in this chakra where they start to feel connected to significantly more than just this physical life. And there's this connection beyond just the physical, and we're connected to everything else. It makes it possible for you to accept what life has to offer. It allows us to rise to the highest level within ourselves and have compassion for all living things. Love and compassion are a big part of this chakra. And it is only in unconditionally accepting where I am on my path right now that I can start to accept others unconditionally too. Isn't that beautiful? Our next chakra is our throat chakra. So the Sanskrit name is Vishuddhi, which means pure. It's our communication center of our soul body. So this is where we communicate with the world, but it also enables us to listen deeply. So two parts to communication. There's us talking and communicating, and then there's us listening to other people talking and communicating. So this chakra enables you to listen deeply as well as speak with conviction. It bridges the feeling center of our heart to the intellectual self in our brow. So it sits between our heart and our mind. As the throat chakra opens, you become less likely to take yourself seriously. You become more spontaneous and willing to play. It calls us to get in step with our truth and have the courage to stand by it. and flexibility. So you're willing to look at new information and incorporate it into our lives. So it helps us actually be flexible, courageous, and stand by our truth. So our sixth chakra is our brow chakra. Its Sanskrit name is Ajna, which means to command. And it's here in this chakra that we finally take command of our life. We become open to the flow of spirit. It's a source of intellectual understanding. So this is where we have our ability to think at a high level, process the world in our thoughts and understanding. It's where perception meets logic. So a lot of our major breakthroughs in our understanding of the world didn't come just from methodical, logical research. Often there was some kind of intervention, inspiration that one or more of the researchers had. So sometimes it's been a dream that provides them with that inspiration of new understanding. Sometimes it's a vision or just an intuitive thing that makes them do something that they hadn't previously been doing. And then that meets the logic and rational, methodical research, and those two, the physical, logical brain meets the intuitive, non-physical brain, and leaps in understanding can occur. We get clearer insight into your purpose in the world. And if the energy is flowing well in this chakra, you are not afraid of changing your opinions and viewpoints. So this chakra provides us with that deeper understanding and confidence to flex in our opinions and views rather than feeling like we must stay committed to what we've already believed. We don't have to be rigid when there is a free-flowing, healthy energy in this chakra. And then we have our crown chakra. So its Sanskrit name is Sahasrara, the lotus of the 1,000 petals. So it's said that this chakra has 1,000 petals or 1,000 little spinning wheels within the biggest spinning wheel. It is our gateway to infinite consciousness. It's where we transcend duality and we connect with the divine, where we find unity. And we find absolute peace and we become calm and serene. So this chakra allows us to connect with the divine spirituality that is creating our world. And that place is difficult to describe, as I talk about in my aura lecture. You know, the duality goes away, and our three-dimensional brain isn't very good at understanding concepts that are beyond duality in unity. So we have to actually move beyond our three-dimensional brain and use a greater part of our consciousness to truly understand the profoundness that comes from connection with the divine. Absolute peace, calm and serene is a really nice way of putting it, but it's even beyond words. So just to give you a little bit of research that has been done in the space of chakras. So Dr. Hiroshi Motoyama, who actually started the graduate school that I attend for my PhD, did research in this space, and he found that the energy flow through chakras is in two directions. It's into the body and it's also out of the body. And some enlightened people can direct energy from their chakras. So you can actually direct energy intentionally out of a chakra, but some people who've become what's called enlightened, they're living in alignment with the divine, are actually able to project a lot of energy out of a particular chakra when asked to. So Dr. Motoyama set up research attempting to measure some type of chakra bioenergetic, bioelectrical output from people intentionally projecting energy from their chakras. So the primary energy that you're projecting is subtle energy, but there are secondary reverberations down in the electromagnetic space, and that we can measure. And so he created a special lead-lined recording booth that removed all external electromagnetic energy from the outside world coming into the space. And he had movable copper electrode used to measure the energy somebody projected from a chakra. So the amplitude and frequency of the electrical field over an awakened chakra was significantly greater than that recorded from chakras of control subjects. So when he took people who were just everyday people like you and me, and they projected energy out, there wasn't the same frequency of electrical field that could be measured than when he had people who were enlightened projecting energy from a chakra that was believed to be awakened. And so he was actually able to show that there's some kind of energy that can be projected from a chakra. Very interesting research. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you listening to my presentation. I hope it's been of value and you've very much enjoyed it. Here's some of the references that I used in creating this lecture. Obviously, 30 years of learning and exploring, there's lots of things I've learned, and it's hard to give you a full comprehensive list, but these are the main resources that I've utilised in the presentation, so you can go do your own investigations and learnings. I very much enjoy sharing information, so please do feel free to look up some of my other presentations on other aspects of subtle energy and keep your explorations going.